Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
I am so honored to be here at Coaching Connection, where we connect you to coaches that's making a difference in the lives of young athletes today. Now, School Without Walls. Yes, School Without Walls has an amazing track and field team, right?
Yes, sir, we do.
Well, let me introduce you to the man who's part of the team that's making that track and field break history. Coach, tell us who you are.
Good evening. I'm Coach Nick Scott. I'm the head coach of School Without Walls High School in Washington, D.C.
All right. Now, come on now. School Without Walls is known for a lot of things.
Right.
You're making it known for your athletic department. Talk to us about it. What are you doing over there?
No question. I appreciate that, Mr. Tate. So, School Without Walls, as you know, as you alluded to, is an academic-based institution that takes the academics extremely serious. So, what I did is when I came to School Without Walls, I how do I say?
You don't have to be modest. We're on Coach Connection. You can keep it like it is.
Okay. I won't be modest. Like when I came to School Without Walls, I tried to relate to what the athletes at that particular school knew, and that athletes at that particular school, they know academics.
Yeah.
So what I said to them is, the School Without Walls right now is the Harvard of DC Public School.
Oh, these are the Harvard of DC Public School. Okay.
Right. Being a Harvard of DC Public School is good, but if you're familiar with college athletics, Harvard's athletics are not on the same level as a University of Florida or University of Alabama.
Okay.
So what I did is I said, okay, so let's change from being a Harvard of DC Public Schools to the Stanford of DC Public Schools.
Oh.
Okay. So Stanford, they compete on the same academic level as Harvard, but they can also compete athletically against Alabama, against University of Florida, etc. LSU.
Step the game up, Coach.
Right.
Okay.
So other places I've been, I've had to challenge athletes to sit there and say, okay, the same thing you do on the football field, on the track, you need to put that same energy and effort into your academics.
Got it. Yes,
now,
sir.
I just have to do the exact opposite of School Without Walls. I have to let these kids know these kids are all, I'm not exaggerating, they get 1,500s, no exaggeration at all. Like, I've been there for 3 years, and every year, our seniors, there are 3 or 4, again, Mr. Tate, no exaggeration, there are 3 or 4 seniors who have over 1,500 on the SAT.
I love it.
You know
I'm from D.C., and I know about School Without Walls. Even though I didn't go there, I went to Roosevelt, and you all know we've interviewed the coach from Roosevelt, so I'm really honored to have the coach here. D.C. public schools, a lot of times people don't think about the discipline or the emphasis that is focused on the athletic departments. Talk to me about your department.
Okay, well, I'm just the track coach, but our athletic department is run by Kip Smith, great guy. He's the athletic director slash baseball coach, and he just, as far as how he does things, he hires the coaches, and he, to his credit, he lets. That's why I believe the soccer team's improving, the baseball team's improving, the track and field team's improving. He lets his coaches coach. Okay. You know what I mean? He just puts the best people in position, and he lets us drive the car. You know what I mean? And we are starting to experience success right now. He was actually just Coach Kip, I'm speaking of, the athletic director there. He was just awarded I believe, the DCIAA Athletic Director of the Year. So things are definitely changing at School Without Walls, not just with track, but with soccer, baseball, etc.
And so that whole department has a impact on the school. Okay. Could you talk to us about how you did drop it. You said that the kids are academically scoring high on their SATs.
Yes, sir.
But socially, how is it impacting the socialization of our students as they interact with each other?
I mean, the same way, like, kids are starting to experience things younger and younger. The same way that when we were kids, and well, let me speak for myself. Same way when I was a kid, I did not.
I was a kid too.
Right. You're right. I didn't know anything about So my first introduction to college was seeing Notre Dame on TV. I knew nothing about Notre Dame science department or seeing USC on TV playing basketball. I knew nothing about anything about the college besides me seeing their particular sports team play. So just the introduction to that particular institution. So the same thing I'm saying with School Without Walls. Now kids are seeing schools in 5th grade, 6th grade, the high schools they might want to go to. And the first image they see from these high schools, that they don't know what the kids' GPAs are in the high schools. They don't know what the kids' SAT scores are. They see the athletic teams. They see the football teams, the basketball teams. They say, okay, wow, this school has a great basketball team. This school has a great football team. Let me look more into this particular school. So that's what I'm trying to do with track. I'm trying to make School Without Walls an option for kids who would never even thought about going to School Without Walls in the beginning, just because of how good our track team is and how much people know me from DC Select, and just we're putting ourselves out there.
Now, School Without Walls is a unique school, not just because it's an open policy. Like, academic students go out all over the city, and so the whole city is a part of the school.
No question.
But what else is unique about the geographic location where the physical building is?
Well, it's the smallest building by far about all the DC public high schools. It's on 21st and G, and it's actually on GW's campus. So geographically, we don't have a track, we don't have a weight room, so all of our practices are at the mall, the National Mall. So it just it gives us the opportunity. I tell the kids all the time that you get to work and work out and practice in a world famous place, the mall, like where all the pictures of people of DC and everything's going on, you actually get to see and just be a part of that and just be in DC. So that's School Without Walls. From what I've experienced my time there, they're really into making DC part of the kids' learning experience, and I'm doing that with the track and field because I'm taking them down to the mall and actually right now we're doing cross country. We just ran to Haynes Point, we ran to Arlington National Cemetery. We did the whole mall. Pretty soon we're going to try to run down to the National Mall. To the National Stadium. So just really experience DC in the classroom and experience DC via cross country.
I love it. That this is real. And so you are growing these young persons almost like one step at a time. You have the discipline. What are some of your core principles that these students are learning under your guidance?
Positivity and effort. The funny part is I can't teach them anything about academics. They've already, by far they're doing better now than I ever did, in my academic career. Okay. But just putting energy into athletics and putting not as much of course, but as much, putting as much energy into athletics as you do academics while you're on the field, okay, or just being committed to a team and just working hard, being positive, being committed to a team and achieving excellence in something that you're not used to achieving excellence in. So that's really
I'm so happy that today, those of you who are watching Coach Connection, you'll be able to see a clip or two of the students running and growing and just being a part of an amazing program. Now, you as a community have a role, and we want you to understand that even though our schools are connected to a budget, it takes so much more to get these young persons to kind of be exposed, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
If someone makes a donation now to School Without Walls, to the athletic department, what could that money be used? What do you think?
Real easy. Hurdles, starting blocks, batons, shot puts, discus, every single track and field implement you can think of. I can't give you the exact number, but I remember athletic directors telling us we have a very small budget. DC Public Schools athletic department gives each school a particular amount of money. I can't tell you the exact number, but that whole number needs to be split up amongst all the sports.
Yeah.
So we have to. The last couple of years, we've been doing a lot of fundraising. To go on our trips. As far as School Without Walls, we went to New York to compete in New Balance games before COVID. And this upcoming year, we're going to IMG Academy. It's the best high school in the country to compete down there in Florida. And hopefully, if everything works out, we'll go to Oregon with not all of our kids, but a couple of our kids competing in national championships and pin relays, of course. So just anything that can be given to School Without Walls, it'll be used strictly for track and field implements and travels to the national track meets.
So I want you to know that Coach Connection is asking you to connect to your schools and your community, write a check and send some money, but also spend some time. What are some of the upcoming track and fields where people can come and see the students participate, or other athletic sports that people in the community can come and watch?
Oh, thank you. So as far as track and field, right now we're doing a cross-country season. So our cross-country meets are at Comer Manor, and I believe the city is Bladensburg, right on the DC line. And but when the indoor season starts, the indoor season is at PG Sports Learning Complex, at the indoor track and field out there at the indoor facility. And all of our track meets, cross-country meets are during the daytime. So it's all during school hours around 1 o'clock. And as far as the soccer for School of Our Walls, they compete at RFK at the fields of RFK.
Wow,
you know,
that's
so
good. Yeah.
and all the DC public schools sporting events are actually, well, let me speak track and soccer. I can't speak on football. I think football's on the weekend, but all track and soccer events are actually during the day, during school hours.
Coach, I'm glad you said that, because when a young person knows that the community is supporting them, it makes them feel different about the community they come from.
No question.
And it is important for your coaches to know that we support you. So Coach Connection, we are not only want to talk about what you're doing now, but can you give us an idea of what the future looks like for your department?
Well, like I stated earlier, like school, so I'm speaking to existence. School of Our Walls, we were a small team, and now, well, this is a fact, we're one of the largest, if not the largest, DC public school track team and cross-country team. This year, we are looking to, unfortunately, last year with COVID, again, we didn't get to have a DCIAA championship. So this year, we're looking to, both boys and girls, win the DCIAA championships for cross-country and indoor and outdoor track, and make a serious run with the girls, make a serious run at St. John's to be a state champion. We have several, I have several seniors who I plan to be all, all conference, all Mets, get a couple of college scholarships. We have a young lady who's an extremely good hurdler. We have a young man who is an amazing shot put discus guy. He just went to the AAU Junior Olympics in Las Vegas and got third place with my DC Select track team, but he's also a School of Our Walls kid, and he, if everything works out, he should hopefully get some money for college. So really, going forward, what I plan to do with School of Our Walls, keep going back DC Select, what I plan to do with School of Our Walls is make it an avenue the same way that back in the day when we were growing up, if you played basketball for DeMatha and Morgan, Coach Wooten, you were, nothing's guaranteed, but it was a good pathway to get to college. And I want that to happen at School of Our Walls. I want kids who come to School of Our Walls know that you're going to come here and run serious track and compete at a high level. And if chasing the Olympic or the college track dream is what you want to do, you don't have to go to Carroll to do that. You don't have to go to St. John's to do that. You can come to School of Our Walls and chase a college dream and get a great education while you do it.
I love it, Coach. So Coach Connection is about just that, making sure our young persons have the connections to a better future. And you talked about your past, you talked about your present, and you've also gave us a glimpse of what we are all looking for from our young persons. Now it's on you. It's on you to connect to your schools, to our coaches, and giving our young persons the opportunity to have a platform that can elevate them to their highest level of success. Coach Connection, I want to thank you for all the work that you do every day to make sure that our young persons have a brighter future starting now.
I appreciate it, Mr. Tate. I really do.
Thank you, and stay tuned.
Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.